My name's Matt Gazowski and I'm the Senior 3D Designer at Sydney Living Museums, and I designed Celestial City, which is an exhibition that explores the background and the consequences of Chinese immigration from about 1850 through to the early 20th century. I came on board the show about a year out from delivery, and initially myself and the curator went through a really intense period of information synthesis where we went through all the graphical content, all the objects, and workshopped how we display them and generally how the exhibition would flow. There's 8 themes in the exhibition, and they range from an introductory theme which gives an overview of a catalyst of events and anti-Chinese sentiment, and then we touch on gold miners, we touch on market gardeners, cabinet makers. We also explore some of the vices and the gritty sides of the city which were blamed on Chinese Australians. And then we move into kind of more opulent tea rooms and mandarins and merchants, all the way to the White Australia policy, and we explore outcasts and the ancestors in China, as well as the final theme, which is the film. The biggest challenges with this show were about how to display the sheer amount of content in such a small space that we have here. So what we had to do is augment the gallery shape, essentially, and force the visitor to zigzag. That gave us more surface area to work with, and it gave us a bigger palette for graphics. So that led to the next strategy, which was layering. So big super graphics in the background, and then more graphical content, as well as quotes and captions and theme kind of text on top of that. In terms of the diversity of objects in the show, we've got a harrow from the powerhouse, which is a couple 100-year-old piece of cast iron that I think was lying out in a yard somewhere for the last 100 years before it went to the powerhouse. And then we go all the way to the other end of the spectrum where we've got a formal surcoat and we've got works on pith. So one item is quite robust, but on the other end of the scale there's items and objects which require really considered handling and lighting and controls in the exhibition. So the works on pith, for example, they're all lit to below 50 lux, and they can only stay on display for 3 months. And then after that 3-month period, we'll take them out and we'll put a replica in its place. This object here is a really interesting object because it actually tells the story of almost the entire exhibition. It's the Illustrated Sydney News, and it's got loads and loads of detail in it, but instead of just having it as an object in a showcase where one person at a time can view it, what we decided to do is, and mainly for school groups, is to blow it up into an enormous open book. At every level in the background you can see amazing details about what it was like in Sydney at the time, and it illustrates really, really perfectly a lot of the themes that we explore later in the exhibition. The install for us was quite a lengthy period. It took about 3 weeks to get it all up and opened. Initially what we do is we just knock down the previous exhibition. So the first week really is removing objects and artifacts. Once they're all out and they're packaged and in storage, then we knock out all the old structure. We keep what we need to keep, we throw away what needs to be thrown away, we recycle all the elements that can be recycled, and we store our own showcases. Once that happens, we've got a clean slate, we do any remediation on the gallery. We patch walls, we straighten floors, we apologise to building facilities, offices, and in this case we actually had the floors polished and resurfaced in that period. Then we start construction, and initially that's painting all the walls, constructing all the framework for any super graphics or partitions in the gallery, all the framework for showcases. Once that's done, super graphics came in. We clad all those walls with graphics. We clad them then on top of that with more graphics, and then we kind of lay final quotes throughout the gallery. Once everything's constructed, painted, off-gassed, we then start installing objects. So objects come in, we lay them out, we have the powerhouse or anyone we've borrowed objects from, they come in and install their objects. We lit everything up, give it a final polish and a dust, and then we open to the public.
I'm delighted to be here opening this exhibition.
The biggest challenge is to try and deliver on all the hopes and dreams of the curator and the hopes and dreams of the team, but still fit it in the space and still fit it in the budget. I think we did it pretty successfully, and it really comes down to, I think, the graphics. Graphics are bang for buck, and Bruce really nailed it.